Rats by Emergence. And if you was to walk through the bedrooms now, you would see the ragged, moldy bedclothes, a heaving and a heaving like seas. And a heaving with what? He says. Why, with the rat under him? But was it with the rats? I asked, because in another case it was not. I cannot put a date to the story, but I was young when I heard it, and the tailor was old. It is an ill proportionate tale. But that is not fault, not his. It happened in Suffolk, near the coast, in a place where the road makes a sudden dip and then a sudden rise. As you go northward, at the top of that rise stands a house on the left of the road. It is a tall red brick house, narrow for its height. Perhaps it was built around 1770. The top of the front has a low triangular pediment with a round window at the center. Behind it are stables and offices, and such gardens as it has behind them. Scraggy Scotch fits near it. An expanse of gorse covered land stretches away from it. It commands a view of the distant sea from the upper windows of the front. A sign on a post stands before the door, or did so stand, for though it was an inn of repute once, I believe it is so no longer. To this inn came my acquaintance, Mr. Thompson, when he was a young man on a fine spring day coming from the University of Cambridge, and desirous of solitude in tolerable quarters and time for reading. This he found. For the landlord and his wife had been in service and could make a visitor comfortable, and there was no one else staying at the inn. He had a large room on the first floor commanding the road and the view. If it faced east, why that could not be helped. The house was well built and warm. He spent the tranquil and uneventful days, work all morning and afternoon, perambulation of the country round, a little conversation with country company or the people of the inn, in the evening over the fashionable drink of brandy and water, a little more reading and writing and bed, and he would have been content that this should continue for the full month he had at disposal. So well was his work progressing, and so fine was the April of that year, which I have reason to believe was that which Orlando Whistlecraft chronicles in his weather recorded as the charming year. One of his walks took him along the northern road, which stands high and transfers a wide common called the Heath. On the bright afternoon, when he first chose this direction, his eye caught a white object some hundreds of yards to the left of the road, and he felt it necessary to make sure what this might be. It was not so long before he was standing by it, and found himself looking at a square block of white stone fashioned somewhat like the base of a pillar, with a square hole in the upper surface. Just such another you may see this day on Thetford Heath. After taking stock of it, he contemplated for a few minutes the view, which offered a church tower or two, some red roofs of cottages and windows winking in the sun, and the expanse of sea, also with an occasional wink and gleam upon it, and so pursued his way.